Money for bombs to Pakistan? Why did India issue a stern warning to ADB? A country that is standing on the brink of bankruptcy, begging for aid from international institutions like the IMF and ADB, is simultaneously increasing its defense budget. The real shock comes when it's revealed that this money isn't being used for reforms or developmental work like education and healthcare, but rather to strengthen bombs, bullets, and terror networks. This is the bitter truth India has now exposed before the world, this time by directly warning the Asian Development Bank, ADB. India has clearly stated that giving loans to Pakistan is not financial aid, but nurturing a threat. Today, we'll dive deep into this issue. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you are the first to get updates on every new video. So let's begin today's discussion without any delay. India's objection is over the $800 million loan granted to Pakistan by the Asian Development Bank, ADB. This loan has been sanctioned at a time when Pakistan's economic condition is severely deteriorated, and the country has already taken international aid dozens of times, but without any real reform. India claims that this fund is not being used for economic revival, but is ending up in the hands of the Pakistani military, strengthening defense spending and terror networks. In its official statement to ADB, India presented a detailed report highlighting the true state of Pakistan's economy. It clearly stated that Pakistan's tax revenue, which was once 13% of its GDP, has now fallen to 9.2%. This figure is not only well below global standards, but also far worse than the Asia-Pacific average of 19%. Shockingly, even as tax collection has declined, military expenditure continues to rise, signaling that economic reforms are taking a backseat while bombs and bullets are being prioritized. India's objection isn't just about numbers. The central argument is that until Pakistan is ready to adopt policy-based reforms, providing it with any economic aid is inherently risky. India has asked ADB whether these funds will truly be used to rebuild Pakistan's economic structure, or if they too will be seized by the military and redirected toward cross-border terrorism. India's stance is not a sudden or impulsive move. It reflects a deep-rooted concern that has been building over the years regarding Pakistan's economic behavior and the military mindset driving it. India has explicitly warned the ADB that the influence of Pakistan's army is no longer limited to defense. It now extends into the country's economic structure as well. A prime example of this is the SIFC, Special Investment Facilitation Council, in which the military is directly involved. This body shapes economic policy, facilitates investments, and no major government decision now proceeds without the army's approval. India has further clarified that giving funds to such a country without strict conditions and close monitoring is not just irresponsible on ADB's part but a serious security threat to the entire region. Pakistan's track record clearly shows that external economic aid is used merely to delay collapse, not to implement real reforms. To date, Pakistan has received 24 bailout packages from the IMF and other institutions, yet tangible reforms remain absent. This warning from India is especially relevant because of the stark contrast between Pakistan's promises and its actions. On one hand, it tells the world it needs support for reforms, but on the other, it continues to harbor terrorist training camps on its soil. When FATF placed Pakistan on the grey list, the global community hoped for reform, but the outcomes proved otherwise. India has emphasized that providing funds to such a country is not a step toward development, but a move toward destruction. In this entire controversy, India's biggest question is this: when Pakistan's economy is so fragile, its debt-to-GDP ratio is soaring, and its credit rating is consistently falling, why is the ADB turning a blind eye and continuing to extend loans to it? Can the ADB not see that providing assistance to such a nation could ultimately damage its own long-term interests? India has also proposed a solution to the ADB. If funding must be provided, it should come with strict conditions. And not just conditions, but also transparent monitoring mechanisms. It must be ensured that every dollar is used solely for developmental work and that no portion of it goes toward military or terror-related activities. India argues that this is not just about safeguarding ADB's interests, but also about protecting the region's overall peace and stability. India's objection becomes even more significant when it's revealed that the ADB president, Misuse met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 1st June, and just 3 days later, the $800 million loan to Pakistan was approved. This decision has drawn criticism from the Indian National Congress as well. The issue has sparked debate on social media, with many questioning whether the ADB disregarded India's concerns by approving the loan to Pakistan so soon after that high-level meeting. According to government sources, India hopes that this time the ADB will exercise greater caution and ensure its funds are used safely and in the right direction. However, history has repeatedly shown that countries like Pakistan have the highest likelihood of misusing international funds. The Indian government's stance is clear. No nation should be allowed to use the excuse of development to finance bombs and terrorism. Pakistan's current economic structure, its military's interference, and its leniency toward terrorism have turned it into an unstable nation. And providing financial aid to such a country raises serious ethical questions about institutions like the ADB. India's argument is straightforward. A nation that prioritizes weapons and military over the well-being of its own people should not receive unconditional funding. To protect its credibility, the ADB must adopt policies that are strict, transparent, and clearly defined. Otherwise, the consequences won't just affect Asia, but global peace as well.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.